So you guys can identify domain and range from a graph, or you can determine it from a list of input and output values or a list of points. So let's look at mappings first, which gives you input and output values. So the first one, or I guess the first thing, is knowing that your input is what you're substituting in to the equation. So that's going to be your x, and the output would be the y. So the domain, we're just going to list in those fancy brackets all of your x values. So -3, 1, and 4. Those are just all of your x values. The range are going to be your y values. So 3, -2, 1, and 4. So the question is, looking and after listing your domain and range values, is this relation a function? So what you guys are looking for is to see if these x values repeat at all. It's kind of a little easier to tell when they're listed already in the points, but you can tell from looking at a mapping because this x value of 1 here, if you were to list out the ordered pairs, it would give you the points 1, -2, and the points 1, 1. So when it has your x value specifically, when that x value has 2 errors coming out of it, that means that it's repeating. It's repeating that same x value with multiple y values. So this would not be a function. So how about number 2? Your domain, just listing those x values, which is the input. So -3, 1, 3, and 4. Range is going to be your output. So 3, 1, -2. So is this a function? Again, you don't care if the y values repeat. They are allowed to repeat. You can have the same y value with multiple x values. What you're looking for is that these don't have more than one branch coming off of them, because that means that it doesn't have the same x value repeating at all. So in this case, this guy would be a function. So it's pretty easy when it gives you guys the ordered pairs. We just have to remember which ones are the x and which ones are the y in your ordered pairs or your points. So the first value is always your x, and the second value is always your y. So your domain is going to be all of those x values in your ordered pairs. So we've got, and it doesn't matter if you list them from least to greatest, I will, but you can list them in whichever order, first to last, or least to greatest, whatever works for you guys. So -4, 1, 3, and then 1 again. And we don't need to list them if more than once if they occur more than once. And then your y values, 2, -2, and -4, and 2. So -4, -2, and 2. So is this a function? Well, what you guys are really looking at is looking for the x values and seeing if they repeat. Since your 1 repeats and shares more than one y value, you've got the 0.12 and the 0.1, -4. This is not going to be a function. A function means you have one y value for every x value. It means you can't put this same y value in the value 1 and get out 2 different numbers. That is not a function. So this would not be a function. So why don't you guys try number 4, and I'll do number 5 here. So you guys are trying number 4. I'm going to do number 5. So if it helps when you guys have just points to list the ordered pairs, you could do that. So like this first point here would be -5, 0. This point here would be -2, 1. This point here would be 1, 1. This point up here would be 0, 5. This point over here would be 6, 1. And this guy over here will be 4, negative 5. So if it helps to list the actual x and y values of each point first, you can do that. Or you can just, if you're good at reading graphs, you can just go right from the points to the domain and range. But the domain is going to be all of your x values. So the domain, we've got this guy here, so negative 5. And I'm just going to go from left to right, so then negative 2 for this point, 0, 1, 4, and 6. The range will be all your y values. So I would go from the bottom up. So that first point, the range will, or the y value will be negative 5. Then if we move up, we've got this point here, so the y value is 0. And then we've got a couple points with the y value of 1, that is fine. So 1. And then the last point, his y value, the range would be 5. So the question is this a function or not? Well, if you look at all of our points, none of them share the same x value. Negative 5, negative 2, 0, 1, 4, 6. So since none of them have the same x value, this would be a function. No x value has more than one y value with it. So he is a function there.